Is it on?
Yeah, we're going.
Oh, shit. Okay, we'll restart. When you are freezing like a potato, Luke.
I'm just going to edit out the first 30 seconds. So whenever it hits that mark, just go.
Okay. Welcome back to the Show Me Show podcast for episode 53. 53 had a dual episode week last week, but we're back. We have a shorter show today, kind of a mixed bag here. We've got me and Luke went and saw Cocaine Bear, so we'll have a little review on that. Say hello, kiss it goodbye, and our new segment to kind of take place for the fantasy corner here is our Show Me Stories of the Week, recapping Missouri sports stories maybe, or just Missouri stories in general that have either gone viral or are just ridiculous. So yeah, we'll be talking about those today. First one of those. Take a look at the Cardinals so far in spring training and catch up on some Blues as well. Some Mizzou, who got another big win last night against LSU. We're taping this on Thursday, March 2nd, 2023, the year of our Lord. And yeah, Luke, what do you want to get into first here?
I think that we can go for maybe one of the most recent ones in the Mizzou comeback win over LSU. It was a very exciting win, to say the least. I thought we were cooked whenever we lost, or whenever we were down at halftime, but not whenever we lost. That wouldn't have made sense. But this, like you said last week on the episode, it kind of feels different this year. There's just something in the air that is going around. That is just so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked about it with you last week that this was like the first time in about 10 years, which is crazy, where when the going gets tough for Mizzou, I believe in them. And I had that same feeling last night. It kind of was fixed by that Mississippi State game that we talked about a couple weeks ago, where I was like, okay, I really believe in these guys late, and I just throw out all the bad Mizzou luck out the window with these guys, with this group specifically. And yeah, that happened again. Down, biggest deficit was 19. I believe it was 18 though at the half, and it was ugly. But Gates and his crew made some adjustments at the half, obviously, and they came back out. They got off to a very quick start. They started 4 for 4 from the field to LSU's 0 for 1 from the field. So they were getting shots. LSU wasn't. They were forcing turnovers. Demoy Hodge became the single-season steal record guy for Mizzou, which was pretty cool. I mean, he was just picking guys' pockets all night long. And there was one, actually.
He hit a big three.
Yeah, he did hit a big three as well. And that's another thing, as Michigan and Illinois go to a second overtime. But another thing about this is there's some groups that Mizzou puts out on the floor, like Golston, Hodge, Carter, Honor, and Kobe Brown, like that group. When that group's on the floor and you can take out Diarra for Carter here, every single one of them can score, and every single one of them can shoot the three ball, which is weird. That both Carter and Diarra can shoot the three ball right now, and they've both gotten better at it. Carter has been.
I think really Kobe Brown.
Well.
What? Kobe Brown can shoot the three ball really well too.
Oh yeah. They said last night he was shooting it at a 46% clip for the season, and he's taken over 90. So Yeah, I mean,
It's insane.
It's night and day difference from last year, that's for sure. So, but yeah, they just have a lot of fight to them, and they never say die. So, shout out Mike Tomlin there. His teams are a lot like that too. So, and same color scheme. So maybe there's something to that. But, yeah, another great win. So,
yeah, I think that right now Mizzou's biggest problem, they're being so disrespected in the brackets. Joe Lunardi's fat ass with his AirPods. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. He has them as like an 8 seed, I think. This team only has 8 losses. If they win on Saturday and one of these things happens, they either Auburn beats Tennessee in Auburn, or I believe it's Arkansas beats Kentucky in Arkansas. If one of those two things happens and Mizzou beats Ole Miss, who sucks, then Mizzou has a double bye in the SEC tournament, meaning they're a top 4 team. They'd be up there with Alabama, A&M, some of those like high-seeded teams. And who knows how many games they could go like to the SEC semifinals or something like that if they just win one game. We're literally a 2-game win streak away from Mizzou playing in the SEC semifinals in the tournament and potentially not getting like a 6 seed or higher, which would be insane if you ask me. But I don't know. Some of the guys like Joe Lunardi has not updated his bracket. It doesn't look like since Tuesday, so that doesn't have the LSU win on there. Jerry Palm on CBS Sports currently has him as a 5 seed, so that would be really high. So between the 8 seed and the 5 seed, that's either a 6 or 7. That's kind of where I see him landing, is the 6 or 7 line. Depending on what they do in the tournament, that could vary. But yeah, I'm just hoping for a good SEC tournament because I'm expecting disappointment in the big tournament. I think we all, as Mizzou fans, you just kind of expect that. And Mizzou is not good enough to go on and win the title, so you expect the loss at some point. It's just how early it's going to be. But in the SEC tournament, I think that's where Mizzou fans are kind of looking forward to. Like, Mizzou they've never been good. They've never won more than like a game or two in this tournament. At least in my lifetime. Like, they might have before, but in my recent memory, I can't remember that. So for them to go and like go deep into this tournament would be really, really cool. And this is a really special team to do it with, and a very special coach, especially.
Yeah, and you're right. No, I don't think there may have been a year when they were like one of the last seeds, and they may have won 2 games. I think with either Jordan Geist or something like that. But yeah, other than that, it's been 1 win or 1 and done. In fact, it's a throwback here to when Michael Porter Jr. was still on the roster. And
Lost to Georgia.
Lost to Georgia, but it was in St. Louis. And me and my dad went because, believe it or not, there was a threat to our school. Janitor was made some comments about possibly shooting up our high school. Me and you were both in the 8th grade, I believe, so we just missed that one. Shockingly, me and Luke had the craziest high school resumes in terms of just whack shit happening like that. But so instead of a school shooting, we got the day off, and we went to the SC tournament, and it was an electric factory in there, especially when Michael Porter Jr. came into the game, and Jonte had a sick pass from MPJ, and that place, the roof just went off. But Michael Porter Jr. also kind of shot us out of that game, and then Georgia just demolished us. It was very sad. And then we made it to the tournament that year, and it was also very sad. So I think that was the year we lost to Florida State really bad. But yeah. So you're right. We haven't made any kind of run in this tournament, and it would be cool. Now, one thing I don't like about the double bye, Luke, is by the time teams get to the semifinals, they're pretty damn good. And it's teams with a little bit of momentum because they've already played and won a game. And that's why, honestly, like, I know the double bye is a big deal, but I also wouldn't care if Mizzou had to play a game to get to where the double bye teams will be in the bracket, just because it would give them a little bit of momentum and a chance to win a game in the SEC tournament. Because
Pick up an extra win.
Yeah, if the double bye, like I just said, a team with a little bit of momentum is going to be coming to play. So, but if you
maybe, I don't know, it could be. If Mizzou makes a double bye, they'll probably be the 4 seed, I would imagine, not the 3. So that would either be maybe they might be the 3 if both Tennessee and Kentucky lose. They would be the 3, but then they're either just going to play Tennessee or Kentucky in the first game of the tournament, probably, unless one of them get upset. So we've beaten both those teams this year. So yeah. I mean, this is. And Tennessee is really kind of in a spiral right now. I hate to say they've been dealing with a lot of injuries, but they are in a major spiral right now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind playing them.
Yeah, their point guard was it Zakai Ziegler or Makai Ziegler? I can't remember what his first name is, but he's out for the year with a torn ACL, which that's just sad. I'll say it. That is sad.
Yeah.
That was a tough scene. Hendon Hooker scene, actually. Yeah, that would probably be the best matchup for us. Because Kentucky, I mean, yeah, they just lost to Vanderbilt and Jerry Stackhouse's group the other night. But when they're hot, I mean, they are, I think Luke went into depth about that not that long ago, that Kentucky can be really damn good when they want to. So, or maybe not when they want to, but just when they're feeling it. I don't know. But, yeah, so we're excited for the SEC tournament. And the rest of the tournaments.
Yeah.
My favorite
conference tournaments, baby.
Yeah, my favorite is always the ACC tournament. It always will be. Big 12, sometimes fun, but usually Kansas just wins it. But yeah, always love the ACC tournament too. So.
Yeah, another one of my favorites is, it might just be because it's the very first championship and it's always the first automatic bid, but the Ohio Valley Conference is always a fun one. But the only difference this year is that they don't have Belmont and Murray State. Like, those are always the team that they run the Ohio Valley, but they both moved to Missouri Valley this year. Currently, SEMO is up by 8 with 3 minutes to go on Tennessee State. If they win this, they will head to the semifinals to take on Morehead State. LOL, by the way. So that would be really cool to see a Missouri team go, a little bit far. A not very good Missouri team. Let's just say that. I'm looking at some of the other tournaments right now. Not a whole bunch. Missouri State is playing tonight as well. They should win their matchup. But yeah, this is conference tournament season. Only sickos really get into this, like me. I've been watching illegally a lot because I don't have ESPN Plus. I've actually been thinking about getting it and just using the free week because, like, the illegal streams are nice because they're free, but they also are a ton of work. There's so many ads on them, man. It might just be easier just to use the free week at ESPN Plus and then, not have to worry about it. So just, do it the actual way instead of the illegal way. So, but I don't know. It works for me, so that's what I do. Also, Jason, one more note.
Is Missouri State in the Missouri Valley in basketball?
Yep. They're the 6th seed in the conference, so they play the – exactly. Yeah, they had their first game earlier. It just finished up. Murray State beat Valparaiso. They kind of – they destroyed them. They didn't just beat them. They destroyed them. What was I going to say? Something about Missouri State, maybe? I don't know. They're playing UIC tonight, and they suck.
UIC University. Not in Cardinals.
University of Illinois, Chicago.
Oh, okay. How many Chicago schools
they replaced Loyola Chicago. A lot. DePaul, Loyola, Illinois, Chicago
Chicago
State. Northwestern,
kind of. There's one more.
Northern Illinois, but they're not really Chicago. They're like an hour out.
No, they're not. Man, it's a little bit.
I think we did pretty good. We did pretty good on that.
No, yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's college basketball. We went pretty in depth with it last week, so we will do our bracket preview next week. I don't know if we're gonna have a regular show that we usually record on Thursday night. We might just wait and do the bracket episode. We haven't decided that yet. But yeah, the bracket episode will be next week. Next Sunday, we will watch the Sunday selection show together and then just immediately give our thoughts on it. So that it would be a little bit, it's kind of, I had a blast doing it last year. We gave some locks, which were horribly bad. And then we picked our winners, which were horribly bad as well. So it'll be fun. But you want to talk about the Battlehawks a little bit? Because they are on a roll. They're on a tear right now.
Yeah, I guess.
They won during our show last week.
Yeah. Yeah, college kicker made a game-winning kick last weekend. It was nice. Thursday, it's been a week. So nothing, I mean, we didn't really cover it during the show except our reaction. But yeah, kind of alligator blood, Luke. Early on, we have some alligator blood. 2-minute team, 2-minute warning team, confirmed. Back-to-back weeks with that. They still have one more road game before they come home. So, yeah. Still kind of in the spot of what you said, though. I don't know how good they really are. It's so hard to read these teams because there's not a ton of points in offense, which probably isn't the best thing for the league. They probably would like to have more points just because, it's a feeder league and you want more points is more excitement for the most part. And the offensive lines on every single team are atrocious. So,
it's so bad.
They're really bad. All of them too. Like it's kind of just like a battle of who has the worst offensive line, night in and night out. It makes
the best skill player.
The front 17 on all the teams look solid, and in reality, I have no idea how good those guys are because the O lines are just really bad. So, yeah, I don't. But yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the Battlehawks. I don't know what to say because we kind of it was just an in the moment kind of situation. What happened last week?
Yeah, exactly. It was just very much like, oh, we won. But they do have a big game. At least right now, it looks like a big game against the DC Defenders this week. They're both 2-0. There's only 3 2-0 teams, and these two are two of them. 2-0 battle for the, I believe it's the North Division. They're in the same division. The other two teams are 0-2, so they're not really a threat. But I mean, these are like the top dogs of the division, and this game could determine whether we get a home playoff game or not. So it's important. DC, if you don't remember, has Jordan Teamu, who was the quarterback for the Battlehawks in the previous XFL. But he actually got benched last week for a guy named De'Aaron King. And if you have been into college football for a few years, you recognize that name. Just a little short. He's even shorter and smaller than Kyler Murray, but he's faster. So, and I think he's left-handed too, if I recall. So just a fun story there. And it'll just be fun. Neither of these teams really have that good of an offense, so it's going to be like who has the worst offense is kind of what's going to happen in this game. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, De'Aaron King was a freaking stud at Houston. Man, he started in front of Kyle Trask in high school, actually, believe it or not. They went to the same high school.
NFL quarterback.
Yeah, Trask wasn't a starter at all during high school, and he still got a scholarship and to Florida, and then he became Florida starter, had that great season with Pitts and Tony, and now he's slated to be NFL starter for the Buccaneers this year. So, and D'Eriq King, you said Tamu got benched. I don't know if he really got benched. They were running some weird shit, like lots of QB runs, and like rinky-dink short throws, but mostly just running it with D'Eriq King, which is kind of what Luke was talking about. But yeah, I don't think Tamu set the world on fire either, though. So probably why they went to him. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens to that one.
Yeah.
You have anything more on the Battlehawks?
No, I think we'll mention them a little bit later, but that's about it.
Okay. What other Missouri stuff is going on right now? The Cardinals spring training?
Yeah.
Started last Saturday, right? Yeah, last Saturday. Had their first spring training game, and all the new spring train what am I talking about? The new rule changes for this year have been implemented, and they're really strict on them. So we got to see what it's going to be like to have a pitch clock, what it's going to be like to have the shift rules and stuff like that. I may be in the minority. That's the word I'm looking for, the minority here. But I kind of like it. People are going to say baseball is like the only game that, should not be played with a clock. But if you look back at the history, the good old days, the people who are against the pitch clock are the same people that are saying the good old days. The good old days involved less than 3-hour games. They had a much faster pace of play. They didn't have a clock, but guys didn't screw around, adjusting their batting gloves. They didn't, change their glove out every time they threw a pitch, or, dusted off the ball or something like that. They didn't screw around, and so the games went a lot faster. I think the clock isn't necessary. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I think it's actually helping the flow of the game a lot better. Like it was a lot faster to watch. Like it was, I mean, obviously it was faster to watch, but it was a lot cleaner to watch. Like if you're not a regular baseball fan, like a diehard one like me, you're going to like this a lot more because it just flows better. There's more action all the time. Yeah. And I really don't think it'll have that much effect when it comes to regular season because the players will be kind of in tune with it by that point. So, but as far as the Cardinals go, it's all right. Jordan Walker, he may be the second coming of Jesus. We don't know for sure yet, but he did hit a 3-run bomb in the second game. Yeah, the second game of spring training. So that was exciting for all the Cardinals fans. Wainwright might be washed. But I feel like we say this every year, and then he goes out and he's like an above-average pitcher. So I don't know. He's given up a run in both of his starts so far, but we're really going to get to see what he has when he pitches in the World Baseball Classic, which starts, by the way, on Tuesday. So kind of exciting there for baseball fans. That's about all I have on the Cardinals at this moment.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for the regular season.
Yeah, what we say every year, Luke, the red jerseys look really good, and a bunch of fans, especially Luke, are always clamoring for them to just be added into the rotation for the regular season. But I think now it's almost just become the staple for the spring season, and that's it. Or spring training, not the spring season.
Yeah, that's what John Mozeliak says about it.
Chip
he's
Carey,
like, they're just a spring jersey. Oh,
Chip, sounding all right. Kind of like what Luke said, though. I mean, he's kind of monotone sometimes without some of the guys, the color guys, I guess, batting around him, like BT and stuff. So I'm glad that BT and stuff are there to kind of help him out a little bit. So, yeah.
It's going to be a transition. He's not a bad announcer, but it was certainly a little different watching him call the games as opposed to Dan McLaughlin. Just because, I mean, that's what I've known my entire life. Every time you turn on a Cardinal game, it's Dan McLaughlin there calling the game.
Yeah.
Even during the COVID times and stuff, he was there calling the games. The only time it's different is playoffs. So it almost gives like a little bit of a playoff feel of the game, like when Dave McLaughlin isn't calling it. But Chip, he seems to he knows his baseball. He's kind of an old time baseball guy, I guess. He's like the peaceful, but he can make a good call when he needs to. I'm not going to make an opinion on him yet, though. I'm going to wait till a regular season game to make that. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
And then another, if we're done with the Cardinals, another St. Louis, Missouri sports team that we should talk about is the brand new one. St. Louis City Soccer Club had their first game on Saturday, similar to the Cardinals, just much later in the day. And it was truly a miracle game. They scored the first goal in history. I forget what the guy's name was. I don't know any of the players either. That's the funny part. I watched the second half. I'll be honest. This is the first time I can remember watching a live soccer game that isn't the World Cup. The World Cup was actually exciting in its own way. But this was not really that exciting. It was kind of nice to have on in like the background. And then obviously whenever the goal is scored, it's like, oh, it's kind of fun. It's a nice background game, I guess, if that makes any sense. And when the one guy made that goal, I think it was like Santa Claus or something was his name. He danced around, he did the tricks, and then he just like did it off his back foot and then hit off the bar and went in with 5 minutes to go. That was pretty sick. I'll be honest. And then they play their first home game this weekend. The tickets that are still not sold are going for like $300. So I guess if you just if you're rich, you can go to the game. But for us normal people, we will be watching from home or just following along and simply not watching, like I probably will. But yeah, it's kind of cool to have a soccer team. Like I said, this is probably the first time I will probably ever get into soccer in my life. It's kind of like hockey. Like I don't follow hockey except for the Blues. So it's almost like that scenario for me. That's when I'm getting the vibes at anyway.
Yeah. That being said, MLS is a very difficult league to follow. Definitely, probably it's lower than golf in terms of difficulty to follow. I'd say NFL 1, NBA 2, MLB 3, NHL 4, PGA 5, MLS 6 in terms of difficulty to follow along if you just have one team.
Why do you think that is?
That makes sense.
Why is it more difficult?
I just think because in the United States, the coverage for soccer is at a minimum. And so, you're not seeing the MLS highlights when you're watching Late Night Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt or whoever's doing Sports Center that night, or, you don't see really MLS players in advertisements on billboards or in your local city commercials. Like you see Ryan O'Reilly, NHL player, in your hockey commercials, or Cardinals players, or if you live in an NFL city, you definitely are seeing your NFL guys or definitely your NBA guys, especially if you have guys like Luka or Kevin Durant or stuff like that, Steph. So I don't know. It's if we were in like Mexico, then yeah, it'd be easier to follow your soccer team because it's definitely has a much greater coverage of it. But MLS it's pretty far down on the rankings. I mean, if it's a Sunday and there's games on, people are watching the last 18 of golf. So, yeah, that's just how it is, though.
I guess if it's a big tournament.
People will just watch.
I don't really know. Like this is
and it's on Apple TV.
This is that does suck too. That makes it worse. But this is a brand new team, so I feel like I will grow to know the players, at least the star players anyway on the team, just as it goes along. So I'm excited to get to do that.
Yeah. And another reason why, and I always include this for MLB and NHL as well, as to why it can be difficult, and obviously golf, but especially golf, but also here for MLS is me and you, Luke, the commoner, we are not watching any of these guys play in college. And some of them are going to come from overseas too. I mean, it's hard to follow guys. That's what makes the NBA and NFL fun for me, at least, especially the NFL. Is you watch these guys in college and how you see their recruiting stuff when they're in high school too. You don't see any of that for MLS.
You see them develop.
Yeah, you get to see those guys develop, but you don't really get to watch full MLS careers unfold really before your eyes because, like I said, it's just not as widely covered. So, yeah.
It makes sense, too.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I feel like hockey's the same way, too.
No, yeah, it is.
At least on a national. So,
all right.
NBA does a really good job. I feel like their product isn't as good, but.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Speaking of NBA.
Job. Yeah.
Speaking of NBA, LeBron is dead. His foot is broken, potentially.
Yeah. No, they said it's not fractured. No surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's good.
And Kevin Durant played his first game for the Suns, put up 23 points in a win. So that's exciting. That's new for the NBA. I like how we're just trying to find things to think of. Like it's just kind of a dead period right now. Oh, one more thing. It's March. Thank God February's over. But the only thing is March doesn't really feel like March until the warm weather and the spring season gets here. So we got another few weeks for that, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, fuck you, Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking fuckhead bitch. All right.
Dude, he predicted 8 more weeks of winter.
Well, should we do a segment here? Or review of Cocaine Bear?
Okay, I was going to... Okay, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, sure. Review. The Cocaine Bear review.
All right. Me and Luke...
You got it first.
Me and Luke, with a couple of our buddies, a few of our buddies, really, went and saw Cocaine Bear together. Not on release night, but on the Sunday, so a couple days after it was released. Something that had been in the works. Past weekend. Since December, since we saw the preview for Cocaine Bear come out, pretty much. Maybe it was November, I can't even remember, but... So we went and saw it. First thing I like to point out was I was a little disappointed that Luke, he looked at me and he said he's not a big popcorn guy. That was kind of a weird shock, but that's okay. And then the actual movie.
I want to clarify.
Okay, here we go.
I will eat popcorn. I just don't like an abundance of it. Yeah, I ate some popcorn. I was fine. I just don't like the big abundance of popcorn. If it's heavily flavored, I can get if it's just salted, then that's disgusting. But it feels like I'm just eating styrofoam then. If it's got some of the butter on it, then it's okay, this is edible. There's a taste to it. It still feels like I'm eating styrofoam, but just flavored styrofoam. So I will eat it. I don't like the big abundance of it. So I'm not going to go to the movies and buy a bunch of popcorn. I just wanted to clarify that real quick.
And I would just like to clarify that I think look, I'm not going to call you partially psycho because you just said that you will eat it. But I will say that you're missing a big part of going to the movies. At least in my family, both sides, we go to the movies not only to watch the movie, we go to the movies to eat popcorn in large portions. Usually we do not have dinner after going to the movies, especially if it's in the evening, because the popcorn, that's your dinner. I mean, that's how much you're eating. You're bringing some home as well for later. And I know you said you don't like to eat it because it can taste like styrofoam if it's not heavily flavored. Thanks to me just watching the previews, and about 20 minutes into the movie, my stomach was starting to hurt. And Luke's right. Once you get to the midsection of the big bowl, it starts to taste like styrofoam. But that's when you know you just have to keep going. You just keep going. And by
disgusting.
midway through the movie, you feel like shit, but you know that you've accomplished something. You've eaten the right amount of popcorn. One thing that I always love to try and do is back when it was a regular bowl, or not a regular bowl, a regular bucket, try and eat at least the first bucket before the previews get done. So you eat the first bucket, then you head back, get some more, and then the movie starts. So that was always a big thing to try and do for me growing up. Did it many times. Obviously, it's impossible now with the size of these bowls that they give us at the movie theater. But yeah, Cocaine Bear, it was funny. It was gory, and the bear was on cocaine. And it went exactly how you would expect a movie titled Cocaine Bear to go, Luke. That's the analysis.
Yeah, I wasn't really that disappointed because I didn't come in with a bunch of expectations. Like, I just came in expecting it to be incredibly dumb and just be very graphic and funny. And it wasn't as funny as I would have liked it to be, but it was very graphic, and it was pretty hilarious. I'll be honest. Just some of the stuff that this bear did was just hilarious. And it loved cocaine, so
yeah,
even better.
I think that's the beauty in all of it. Really, is by the end of the movie, we really see just how much this bear loved cocaine in a short amount of time. I mean, no spoilers, but a spoiler here in a moment. It did awake him from the dead pretty much, and he was back to his rightful self due to the cocaine. So was also Ray Liotta's swan song, and there was a couple, actors that you've definitely seen before in it. So including the retail TikTok guy that always makes fun of retail in those videos or whatever. He was in it. I think his name is Scott Seiss or something like that, or Cease, something like that. But yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was the EMS guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was with the paramedics or whatever. And yeah, so that's Cocaine Bear. It was he was on cocaine. And that's all you can really say about it. A lot of
cocaine.
So, yeah. Yeah, not a bad plot either. I liked the plot, how everybody kind of came together as well. So, the bad guys, the good guys, the cops, the family.
Oh, yeah.
I liked that part too. So yeah, Cocaine Bear, go see it. Free ad.
Right. But at the same time, if you don't have any interest, then don't see it, because you will be it will be a waste of time if you don't have any interest. So at the exact same time, just put a warning on that.
Just remember,
free ad.
It is a bear on cocaine, based off a true story. Loosely. Very loosely.
Loosely.
Here's what it's based on. The bear was in Georgia. That's a fact. And the bear was on cocaine in real life. That did happen. And that's kind of where it falls apart after that. But those are two big things. Georgia and on cocaine, the bear. So I think they kind of nailed that. They nailed that. So shout out to them.
Yeah. All right. You want to get to our news segment?
Show me stories of the week.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
This is an idea that we had to, because we are the Show Me Show, but just to bring a more local show me aspect to the show that maybe doesn't have to do with sports, because most of our listeners are from Missouri, and Maybe all of them. I don't know. We might have some listeners out from other portions, but most of them are here in Missouri, locally. So sometimes it'll be multiple stories. Sometimes it'll be stories that you've seen. Sometimes it'll be stories that you haven't seen. Maybe something related to sports. Maybe something not related to sports. This week's. Do you want to take it from here? Do you know this story better than me, or just as well as me?
There's not a whole lot to know about this story, but the basis of it was a few nights ago, a video went viral because there was a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk, and another man walked up to him, nonchalantly pulled out his Glock, I guess, loaded it in broad daylight while someone was recording from probably about 25, 30 feet away, loaded it in broad daylight, took his sweet time, and the homeless man didn't do anything because he had no idea what this guy was doing because it was taking him forever, and then he just shot him in the head, point-blank range.
Point blank.
Yeah, and the video went viral because of just how brutal it was. I mean, it was so inhumane. And after further review, it was not a shock because when I was watching it, Luke, I was like, that backdrop looks like somewhere downtown, and like downtown St. Louis somewhere. And I shit you not, I think one of our buddies resent the video, or maybe it was me who resent the link that said it was from St. Louis. The video took place in St. Louis, the video that went viral. So not a shock. St. Louis is usually 1 or 2 in terms of deadliest cities in the United States. But just a disturbing video, to say the least. Very graphic. It just happens right then and there, and you just see it. Yeah, so Missouri in the spotlight once again, or specifically the Lou. But
the Lou's been in the spotlight a bunch. We'll get to another part later on the say hello, kiss a goodbye. But yeah, this was a story. This isn't exactly the best story to start off this segment with. This is a very depressing story, but it is wild. Like, it is absolutely wild that someone would do this. And it did go viral, so it is the inaugural Show Me Show Story of the Week, or Show Me Story of the Week. I don't know exactly what we're going to call it yet, but hopefully the stories will get more happy, maybe not as dark. That's what I'm hoping for, at least.
Yeah. But probably
we're
not.
chasing history right now, Cam.
How close is he?
So if you don't know, there's this guy on, oh boy, it may be over soon here. Antoine Davis on Detroit Mercy. And you're thinking, oh, what the hell is this about? He just missed it too. Yep, it's over. Man, this could be a tough scene, man. Antoine Davis, this is his 5th year at Detroit Mercy because of the COVID year, the extra year of eligibility. And he came into tonight, the game against Youngstown State, 24 points away from tying the all-time scoring record for NCAA, held by Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete, the legendary Pistol Pete. And he's got 20 points right now, but the game has 30 seconds left, and Youngstown State is up by 4. So he is most likely going to finish like within 5 points. He's going to come so close, man. Oh, he's going to be like regretting like the end of the game moments when he could have shot free throws. But he didn't, or maybe he missed 1-3 in his career. And if he would have made it, he's going to be regretting a lot of things if he comes up just short of this. And he also has 4 fouls, so he has to be careful here that he doesn't foul out either.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's incredibly sad. I was rooting for it too because it would have came out of nowhere. And in the same year that LeBron breaks the all-time NBA score record. Just weeks apart, actually. That would have been insane as well. That would have been a cool element to add. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen, unfortunately. So it could still happen. There's still 30 seconds left. They have the ball. But yeah, it may be over. This is a fast-moving episode, Cam.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe they could get a CBI invite, but they're 14 and 18, so probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Sometimes they invite those teams just for fun.
Probably not.
Yeah, their conference record is 9-11 too. Shout out to actually, I'm not going to shout anyone out on that one. I'd probably get myself in trouble.
All right. Next story. Battlehawks' first game is literally sold out. So there we go. Positive note there for the Show Me Show. Literally sold out the entire lower bowl. And just like me and Luke predicted, they're already having to open up the 300 level. Haven't opened up the 400 level yet, which means there's, I guess, tickets going around in the 300 level, including season tickets for $40. But there was a wait list at first. I don't know if there still is. So yeah, not entirely somber. In terms of local, Luke, we had our Washington Lady Jays win in 4 overtimes night, round 1 of districts. What else?
That was sick.
We got although the men's team got shit on by Webster Groves last night, 65-30. And that ended their season, so that sucked. But Webster Groves, they may have had a losing record. They may have had a losing record, but that's neither here nor there. They did win the state title last year, so yeah.
True. True.
Juggernaut.
And they may have made all of our players turn into like Ben Simmons. So,
but
just
like
unable
said,
to convert on offense.
That's neither here nor there. So,
neither here nor there.
Another Washington story here. Brandon Stallman, former Borgia baseball legend, hit a dinger last night for Charlotte. So there you go. Good for him.
This is UNC Charlotte, so Conference USA, not like Charlotte, like the what's it called? The White Sox minor league team. I'm trying to think of it right now. It's
college
blank.
baseball.
Yeah, this is college. But it is a D1 school, so very cool.
Oh, yeah. Huge. Let's see. What else? There's one more. I was thinking. Oh, Ryan Jostis got like his 1 millionth offer, and another one from Purdue. So he's just racking them in.
Feisty school.
Yeah, Boilermakers. Boiler up.
Oh, Davis is shooting technical free throws right now, it looks like. So a little bit of a gift there from the basketball gods.
Yeah,
he made his first. Look at that.
For nothing.
Look at that, baby.
All for naught, though. All right.
Yeah, probably. He makes it 2 points away now.
That's it for the Missouri sports stories. We do have Say Hello, Kiss It Goodbye to round out the show here. We can get the energy pumping here a little bit here, Luke. I'll go first. My Say Hello is to the Mandalorian season. It's back. Watched episode 1 last night. 8 episodes this season, and episode 1 for sure laid the groundwork as well. So that was nice. My next one is Say Hello to official quarterback 1, Sam Howell. Luke may not agree with this one, but there was a sick photo that came out this morning of Sam Howell and Kevin Durant taking a picture in front of a sweet car. But the haters won't like that. But say hello to QB1 for the Commanders. Say hello to Antonio Brown owning an arena football team, Luke. That won't go poorly. that won't go sideways at all. No. Especially with AB running it. Shit, this is almost a kiss it goodbye. No, we still have a few more days. Say hello to the NFL Combine. There's already some guys putting up some crazy numbers. The linebackers and such, they ran the 40 today. A guy from Auburn, Papoe or something like that. I can't remember how to say his last name. Starts with the letter P. Ran a 4.46. So that was pretty sick. Nolan Smith ran a 4.39, which was insane. So yeah, NFL Combine. Say hello to the NFL Combine. Do you want to say your say hellos, or should I say my kiss it goodbyes and then you do all yours at once?
You can go ahead and say yours. I'm watching this game really intently right now.
Okay.
So I'm kind of half listening.
My kiss it goodbye. And this is kind of sicko talk here, but my kiss it goodbye is to UNC's one and only quad one win, as UVA, Virginia, just dropped out of quad one technically, in terms of, because that game was at UNC.
No.
And UVA just dropped out of the top 30. So Luke's freaking out about something. He missed it. The buzzer
over. He had a chance. He shot a 3 and he missed it. He had a chance. So he comes up 2 points short of the all-time record. So what'd you say?
That's all you can ask for is a shot to break it.
Yeah. It was not a good shot by any means, but wow, that's a major tough scene. But shout out to him for a great career.
Yeah. This one's interesting, Luke. Kiss it goodbye to Jerome Boger. Happy trails, Jerome Boger. His ass is gone. Head referee for the NFL, and usually leads a crew in the NFL. His ass is retiring after 19 years in the league, which is actually a respectable amount of time to be a head NFL referee, but his ass is done. And, oh yeah, kiss goodbye Ja Morant's reputation for good. According to a bunch of sources over the summer, a 17-year-old filed a lawsuit against Ja Morant for beating the shit out of him. How many times did you get punched, Luke? Was it 13 times? I think it may have been 13.
I don't remember the exact amount. That sounds right, though.
I think it was 13 times punched this 17-year-old Ja Morant after a pickup game. And then he pointed a gun at him, at his head, actually, nonetheless. So when I saw this, Luke, I think the only thing I sent to the chat was shocker, because Ja Morant has been freaking on one in terms of trying to just be absolute like gangster thug all of a sudden. And I mean, he can back it up. Don't get me wrong, but there's no need to do it. Maybe this is just Memphis turning him, because Memphis can be a dark place, especially West Memphis. But I don't really know what this is all about. It's not like Ja Morant had a bad upbringing, married parents with good jobs.
It reminds me of
I don't get it.
Like in the movie 8 Mile, whenever Eminem goes on at the end of the movie and he just absolutely destroys the guy because the guy's acting all gangster, and he's like, "Oh, you actually went to a private school. You have married parents. You have no drama and stuff like this, but yet you want to be." That guy that gets destroyed by Eminem at the end of 8 Mile is literally Ja Morant, but instead of rapper, it's NBA player. So I like Ja Morant. He's fun to watch. He's a great player. And the fact that he went to like a small college, that was really cool too. But God, he's kind of an idiot. I saw something. It was like, Ja Morant, like everyone's like, "Oh, I'm trying to make it to the NBA." They say that. It was like Ja Morant is the first player to try to make it out of the NBA.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy, man. And that's why I don't think the Grizzlies are going to win the title ever. So,
never.
Yeah, probably never.
Okay, ever. That's all my stuff.
And you kind of ran through it there. I only got two. I kind of had to put them together at last second, but I'll go through them quickly here. My say hello is the thread. So I said I was bringing the thread back, if you remember from last year. It's where I basically announced the elimination officially of every NCAA college team, their elimination from the national title. So at the beginning, there was all but I think maybe 15 teams just because they were ineligible already. Every other team had a chance to win. All they got to do is win their conference tournament and then win the NCAA tournament, and then you're in. I mean, I say all you got to do. That's incredibly hard, but every team has a chance for the most part. So I go through, and as soon as each team loses in their conference championship, I eliminate them, and then I'll do it in the NCAA tournament as well. So it's not as fun as it was last year. Last year it was really fun. This year it almost is more like a chore. So I'm getting a little lazy on it, but the games are more fun this year than what they were last year. So I don't know what the correlation is, but it is back. So I just wanted to let everyone know about that. And then I don't actually think I have another say hello. So I'll go to kiss it goodbye. That was it. That was all I had. I'll be honest. Kiss it goodbye is the Missouri St. Louis head prosecutor Kim Gardner. This situation is very, very wild. Huh?
Said, see ya, bitch.
It's exactly. Just one of, when you talk about historically one of the worst prosecutors ever, and this is not racist. I'm not because she's a black or because she's a woman at all. If it was me, I would say one of the worst prosecutors ever. But we're not going to get super into politics, but I don't want to go there. But basically, the attorney general called for her to resign. The mayor of St. Louis called for her to resign, and they basically said if she didn't, that they would just tarnish her name and release all this evidence against her that proves she wasn't doing her job. And they gave her the chance to resign, and she was basically like, I didn't do anything wrong, so I'm not going to resign. So things are about to get steamy, to say the least, because there's a lot of pissed off people in St. Louis. There's a lot of pissed off people in Missouri. This story is getting national news. It's appeared on Fox News multiple times throughout this week. Speaking of Fox News, that could be a kiss of goodbye as well, but I'll say that in a little bit. This is it's not going to end good for Kim Gardner. I'll just say that because everyone knows, like everyone that I talk to in the St. Louis area is just like, anytime they have a lawsuit, they're asked, do you want to press charges? And they're like, why would I press charges? Like, that's just a waste of my time. We all know that the prosecutor is not going to do a damn thing if I press charges. And it's just gotten to the point where, there's criminals with multiple violations and stuff and accusations and charges on them just out on the loose. So the story finally hit not the story, but it all kind of like came piling down when that one volleyball player that was visiting from Tennessee got destroyed by that car and lost her legs. And the guy, he definitely should have been in jail, the guy that was driving the car. But I'm also not a lawyer, so I don't want to judge too much yet. These are all alleged charges, but this is not going to end well for her. So kiss her goodbye because she's going to be gone. Also kiss goodbye to the Chicago mayor, Lori Lightfoot, because she got booted out.
See you,
know what they say, you put your right, or you put your left foot in, you put your light foot out. You know what they say in Chicago. So, and then also my other kiss it goodbye is Fox News reference. Because,
That was a gross reference.
What do you mean?
Wasn't that the name of the tall white dude from Loyola, Chicago?
Oh, Lightfoot? I think he was the guy that played at Kansas, if I remember.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, that I think if I recall correctly, he played at Kansas.
That's
maybe it was Miami. I think it was Kansas.
It was Kansas.
Okay. But yeah, she's gone. And then basically Fox News is being sued for false information. The company that ran the ballot machines in 2020, they're basically never going to get business again in their life because Fox News, among other people, it's not all Fox News, tarnished their name and said, they were unsafe. They were not going to. So that company basically lost all their business. And so they're now suing Fox News for misinformation. And they're basically just going to win millions of dollars. And they're talking about maybe bankrupting the company. Obviously not the owner, because their owner is like dirt rich. He's like a top 20 richest person in the world or something like that. He owns the Wall Street Journal. He owns just a bunch of shit. So he will be perfectly fine. But yeah, that's not a good look on Fox News. And then speaking of corrupt people that are very rich, Alec Murdoch got thrown in jail tonight. So 30 years to life is what he's facing. So if you haven't watched that documentary on Netflix, then go watch it, because it was a really good, well done documentary, and it was a very evil family, and this guy, he's getting what he deserves. So
yeah, and I'll say it once again. See ya, bitch.
Exactly. That's our show. That's our show.
Yeah.
Now we're long, baby. Short and sweet, but that's what happens whenever.
May have been some filler in there, but that's okay.
Yeah, a lot of filler. Hey, it's all in good hands. So we'll see you either next week for another normal episode, or it'll be in the bracket episode. So it's literally right around the corner. It's right there. So get ready. Buckle
Duke
up
UNC this week
for March Madness.
Duke UNC this weekend.
Oh, it's true. Oh, that's true. Big weekend for Mizzou. Remember the scenarios I mentioned earlier. And if you haven't yet, go check out we had a midweek episode last week. It was on the coaching hire grades and review from this past off season. So it was kind of like I think I released it like mid-Wednesday. So it was like a really weird release time for our show. So it might have gotten lost in the mix-up, but if you haven't listened to that, it's about the same length as this show, so it's kind of short and sweet. Well, an hour long. It's not short by any means, but shorter. Go check that out, and we'll see you guys in the next video. You have anything to say, Cam?
No, I could drop another see ya, bitch, but I won't. So,
oh, you could, because I could follow up on my message from last week on my addiction, but could say see a bitch to that because it's gone, baby.
Congrats to Luke. I'm gonna clap it up. Congrats to Luke for beating. Well, not beating. Well, I don't. Never mind.
I wouldn't call 72 hours beating. I'm going to need a little bit more than that, but I'm working on it. It's getting better.
He's working on himself.
I want to know that. Yeah. Focusing on myself, man. All right. See you guys next week.